So here are some ideas to be proactive in getting backlinks back to your site. So 3 ideas here. One is you request to guest post in someone's blog. I'm going to go through these steps with you. Number 2, you create a useful tool that people will naturally want to backlink and share. All right, we can do that as well. And number 3, you build meaningful conversations with online communities and people online. Now, number 3 is my best, is my favorite way to do it. All right, so let's go through number 1. So tip number 1 is how to find sites that needs guest posts. Now, on the internet, there are millions and millions of sites out there, right? And a lot of these sites, they rely a lot on content to continue running a site. So they always need content. Imagine someone like me, ordermentor.com. I will need content every single week, every single month to maintain the site. So what you can do is you can find for something like this. Go to Google and search for your niche plus semicolon guest post. All right, you can try this right now as well. So basically what you want to do is you want to search your niche and then followed by guest post. And what you want to do is you want to actually find websites that allow you to actually guest post. So what you want to do is you want to request them and say, hey, I have this great post. Can I guest post on your website? And whenever you guest post on your website, you include a link that points back to your website, if that makes sense. All right, let me show you this in action, okay? So how would I do this? Let me just share my screen. All right, so you can go to Google. Let me just go to Google. And basically, depending on your niche. So let's say my niche is in playing guitar, okay? Playing guitar. So just type in your niche. It can be anything. Type in your niche, put a plus sign right there, semicolon, and put in guest post. So what we are doing here is we're using a Google search operator to dive down into websites that allows us to guest post. Hit enter, and basically you'll find a full list of websites that allows you to guest post. So for example, we find the www.guitaranswerguy.com. Let me just click on that, right? Guitar Journal, guest post for guitar websites. All right, so let me just look at one of them. So you're going to go through the website and see what they want, okay? So right for the Guitar Answer Guy, guest posting guideline. So what you get in return. So basically what he's telling you here is telling you that what kind of sites that we are accepting, right? These kind of topics are considered. Oh, okay, how to remove light scratches on gloss finish. Now, if you can write that kind of article and include a link within the article that points back to your website, and all you have to do is just basically find a way to send him this article, right? Oh, there you go. So you can put, hey, my name is Ruben. I'm from Ruben at thelead.io. And hey, I have an article on something, yeah? And just basically pitch to this guy and say, hey, I have an article, but within the article that you send to him, you want to include your link. And normally, they will allow you to include your link if you are legit, all right? And once you do that, basically get a backlink back to your website. So that's the first way, right? So that's one way you can find a lot of different types of websites that allows you to guest post. Basically, just use this search operator, put in your niche in front. It could be anything, any niche, followed by a semicolon guest post. All right, you'll find a lot of sites that allows you to guest post immediately. So that's step number 1. Now, tip number 2 is to build a useful tool. As I mentioned earlier, you might want to build something like a home loan calculator, right? Or build a useful tool like a in this example, again, a loan calculator. But there are many tools online that you can build. And this is just one example of it. So when you build a tool, basically what's going to happen is people are going to naturally link back to you, right? Because you have to build something useful and, people can actually use them for many different reasons. All right, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to build meaningful conversations with people. And this is my favorite thing to do. So basically, when I create content, what I'll do next is I'll go out on Facebook, Twitter, on social media, and start to look for people who are speaking about the same type of topics as I am. So since I'm in a music production niche for ordermentor.com, what I've done is I go into Facebook and search for music production. And you find that there's a lot of groups of people talking about music production, right? So of course, I'll just go and join all these groups and start to build conversation with them. And then once a while, I do not spam, but once a while, I would post a post in one of the group, okay? And inflict some conversation. And you can see immediately, right? When I did this, when I posted this into one of the groups, you'll see that people start commenting on it, right? People commenting and discussing on it. Now, what this does for you is that this gives you this social shares, the social awareness, the social engagement, and this tells Google how popular your website is. And indirectly as well, a lot of these people here, they begin sharing my article and they begin visiting my article as well. And that increase the visitor, giving me a lesser bounce rate and also a longer dwell time with all these people who are interested in this topic coming into the web page itself. And because of that, this website or this web page itself has a better chance of ranking on Google. All right. Now, this is one example. More examples like this, right? So sometimes when I write a piece of content, I would include some of my favorite brands, some of the manufacturers who created some of the items that I cited within the content, that I mentioned within the content. So what I would do is I'll go to somewhere like Twitter or even Facebook and start to email these guys and say, hey, you know what? I've written about you, I've written an article, and I mentioned you. Now I'm going to share this to my list of audiences, but it'll be cool if you can also share this to your audiences, right? And some of these brands, they hold a huge load of audience out there. And when you do this kind of outreaching, right, most of them, they will actually want to help you. And basically, you get things like this, right? People start sharing your content as well. Hey, this is something that we are involved with. This guy mentioned us in his article, and here it is. So they basically would reshare your stuff as well.